Look how far we've come, all the things we've done. Did it all with love, beauty from the bottom up. All I want is you, you're my favorite view. But there's nothing more, girl, you make my heart beat.
And we are back.
Welcome back, you beautiful creatures.
Season 3, episode 23 of the To Be Better podcast.
That's a crazy number.
That's crazy. We are doing a thing, guys. We're fucking doing a thing. This will end up dropping in June. That's how far out we are right now.
That's crazy.
Yep. Any kind of new life stuff you want to talk about before we get into this? I mean, at this point, it's not gonna be relevant. I think that we might want to take a break from doing some of this to like, I love the cushion.
Right.
Being recorded into June means that we have all of April, all of May, and then we have to worry about work. So we could take an entire month off of recording if we wanted to, but we would lose all that cushion. And knowing that we're going to miss time in May and the retreats that we're doing, like, I don't want to lose that, but like...
Well, when you think about it, the retreats that we're doing aren't really going to impact our recording.
They will for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So like we
don't really record Friday,
You do Good Wives on Fridays.
Right, but we're getting ready to record again this upcoming Friday. We've recorded 6 episodes this month already. That puts us out another 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We're trying to do 6 episodes every month.
Yeah. Man, it gives you a 2-week buffer. We got some people back in the chat that just came back to Patreon. That's dope.
Oh, hello.
Anyways,
oh my gosh, baby, I almost have 130 people.
Wow. What I was going to say is I feel like we're so far ahead that like the conversations that we have right now is not relevant anymore by the time it airs.
Right.
Our life has happened. So it's relevant to the people who are watching live on Patreon. Should be watching live on Patreon with us, the 130 plus people that are watching right now. I don't remember what I was going to say.
We're so far recorded that life happens and things that are new now are not new when they watch it.
Yeah. So I got, I bought the bed for the van. That's done. I bought cabinets for the van. That's done. We got bug nets for the van, the spare tire, all that shit's on the way to Charles. And then we'll be able to literally sleep in the van. We have the solar panel set up for that we're at a point now where the van where I'm going to be able to drop it off to Charles soon and he'll be able to do the work to get the van ready. And with the solar setup that we have, because we have a removable solar that is a huge battery charger that we can charge while we're driving. And we have like 600 watts of solar panels that are foldable that we can lay out. Other than taking a shower, we are able to basically live in our van if we wanted to at this point.
Yeah.
And it's not like the most amazing setup ever. I would still like to buy an RV one day, but the van doing what it's doing right now where we can move things in and out is dope. So
I don't know. The newest things with me is I got a new wardrobe. I'm accessorizing now.
Changing yourself, coming out of that cocoon.
Yeah. Still learning myself spiritually, expanding my understanding of the universe and vibrations and chakras and all of that.
Really looking forward to April's the next retreat.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Now that we already have the medicine inside us, I would like to do the daytime ceremony, but I don't know what Friday night's going to look like.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to wait and play it by ear. Vibe said Chris and his love for cars. I think that I'm done with the car thing. Like the want for new vehicles has diminished greatly.
I'm glad.
Because we have all these little projects going. And like the only issue that I'm currently having is my Subaru. I bought that Subaru because it hurt to drive everything else. And I can't drive the van, the big To Be Better van here because we get fucking HOA violations and ADA violations because the van blocks the sidewalk when it's parked in the driveway and all that stupid shit. So I bought the Subaru so I had a vehicle that I could drive all the time because I needed a vehicle to drive in. You know, I didn't have the Bronco at the time. The other car that I had was so low, like I couldn't sit in it. It wrecked me. So now I kind of want to get the Subaru gone, and I'm at this weird crossroad of do I trade the Subaru in to a pickup truck so that we have an actual truck because you can never go wrong having a pickup truck, or do I just give it back and pay the difference and get out of the car and wipe that 40 grand of debt off of my fucking credit? You know what I mean? Like, and that's a huge hang up that I'm having for me right now. But once this is done with the car thing, like I love my Bronco. I really love my big van. If I could just drive my big van every single day, that would be my daily driver. I'm driving your Kia more than I'm driving my Subaru. Tessa said, need to do a new wardrobe, lost 50 pounds, nothing fits. But damn, that do something for yourself guilt is strong, LOL. Who is the author of It Didn't Start With You? Do you remember?
I can tell you. I love that everything is just conveniently saved in my resources tab for the women's groups.
Yeah.
Makes my life so easy. It Didn't Start With You. Mark Wallen. Wollynn.
There you go. Vibe said, I got to find a way out of my car to get something more affordable. Mine's not even the affordability. I only got a 4-year lease on that car, 4-year loan. So it's a high payment.
Yeah.
But it'll be paid off fairly quick, especially with the principal payments that I'm making. So like I am upside down on it right now. I won't be by the end of the year, and I could just give the car back, or I can sell it, pay the difference, and be out of it. But I do enjoy the car. It's not like for long drives. It's really nice. It's comfortable. It's got a whole lot of room. The dogs are comfortable in it. If we keep it, I'm ripping the back seats out and just making a flat bed back there so they have plenty of room. But then it makes it so the kids can't ride in there. And then, we have the Kia. Well, if that's the argument, I don't fucking need the Subaru. We have the Kia, and the Kia has a shit ton of room in it.
It does.
That we can fit everything in. And when we can't fit everything in it, everything fits in the van.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I just want to respond to Sabrina real quick. That picture of the baby did make me smile yesterday. Thank you for that. I have this really bad habit of either responding in my brain or just not responding at all, but that did make my day a little bit better. Thank you.
Wonder who all is going to show up at that retreat in April.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I know one person from my Women's Thrive group has decided to go through with it.
Yeah. Well, I know two of the people on our Discord has signed up. That one and another dude that had bought one of my books. I was trying to get Jay and Krista to go.
Yeah.
I'd love to see them again.
My wardrobe changes in the past couple of streams have been impactful and inspiring. Do you have recommendations for comfy and eco-friendly clothes in your searches? Not particularly. I just kind of Googled like earthly, comfy clothes. I wasn't really looking for anything that was too revealing. I got a pair of shorts and like a wrap top that is a little bit too much skin for me. That'll be more of a like wearing around the house on a lazy day kind of wardrobe. I would just recommend Googling. I would refine my searches. If I didn't like what popped up, I would change the verbiage.
All right. So let's just jump into some emails.
All right.
This is called Treading Water.
Hi, Chris and Peaches. I've been on a deep dive in your podcast, and a lot of what both of you say really resonates with me. I don't know if you guys know what Lombardi time is. Lombardi. But I'm originally from Wisconsin, and the Packers stadium clock is set 15 minutes ahead. This comes from Vince Lombardi saying, if you're 15 minutes early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. Not sure if that's where Chris got that from or just grew up that way, but I felt that.
Nope, that's just the way I grew up.
Yeah. That became a thing for me in high school, like my sophomore year. I heard my band teacher say that once. And it just stuck with me. I was like, damn, what a thing to tell somebody.
Well, if we didn't live that way, you know how late we would have been to that ayahuasca retreat we went to?
Oh gosh, very late.
We would have been like 2.5 hours late.
Yeah.
Because I was so worried about traffic. We left an hour and a half earlier than we needed to, and it took us 4 hours to drive a normal 2-hour drive because of traffic.
Yeah.
So that on early, I would rather be there and be waiting in my car playing on my phone than fucking anxious and stressed out, panicky over that
Taking
shit.
a nap, reading a book. Continuing on, I love how Peaches calls things like she sees them, and I absolutely adore her goofy side too.
Me too. Had a moment last night. I'm telling on myself.
Okay. Had
a moment last night where we were doing something. I can't even remember what we were doing, but you were looking at your phone, reading something, and you were smiling.
No, you were showing me a dude dancing to the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah. The old man. You were looking at my phone, and all I could see was you just smiling, and it was just genuine happiness, and like that light is the thing that drew me to you. And the fact that it's not diminished and that's still a part of who you are, it fucking like, it does it for me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to cry.
We can cry together.
I'm good. Push it down.
Okay. I love you.
I love you too.
You fucking better.
Or what?
I'm going to throw a temper tantrum. I don't know. Do something to make your life inconvenient in the moment.
Don't do that. I have enough inconveniences in life. So much for being my peace, bitch.
It's easier to just love me. Oh, goodness gracious. Made my eyes all cloudy because you're being super sweet about my existence.
Yeah, your happy, goofy side is the One of the most beautiful things about you. There was a TikTok last night of a lady sitting on a kitchen counter with a box on her head, hitting a box to a beat with a plunger.
Yeah.
And then the dude walked through with a broom with a paper towel roll on it, pretending it was a trombone. And I was like, we could totally do that. I could put a garbage can on my head, just bang it with a fucking broomstick, and you could actually walk through with your saxophone, and we could totally make a TikTok like that.
Yeah. Let's see. Continuing on, I love how both of you play off each other, and really how you love and respect each other. It's really refreshing. I feel like just listening to your podcast has helped me get out of my own head a little bit. And though it can be sad, it's comforting to know that there are other people in this world going through something a little bit similar to what I'm going through, and that I'm not completely alone. My man and I are both turning 40 at the end of the year. We will have been together for 6 years on 3/17. Oh, that just passed.
Yep. So happy belated 3-year anniversary.
6 years.
6 years. I said 3 because of 3/17.
Yeah. We met at a pool hall where I know the owners, and I'd be considered a regular. I'm not there all the time like I used to be, but they all know my name, and I feel safe there. I took up playing pool when my mom passed away, but we always had a pool table in my house growing up and at my grandparents'. My man's uncle also used to bartend at this bar before he passed away in 2022, so we are more like family. We are more like family for this place. We just recently held a fundraiser for another one of our regulars with stage 4 cancer too. We don't go anywhere else to drink or hang out. We had a good season of getting to know each other before dating. We talked at length about what we wanted for ourselves, how we saw our life in the future, our hopes and dreams. I fell in love with his work ethic and how he was like the go-to guy for my problems. I respected that he was a veteran, and I saw how he was kind with kids before we started dating, which made me fall harder. I loved that he spoke his mind. I loved that he didn't take bullshit from anyone. I loved that he was still standing after a difficult divorce and sounded like he really wanted to improve and work on himself, be a better person, own his shit. I loved the physical intimacy we had/have. Maybe I was wrong, and it's been such a long time of being wrong. Maybe I'm a fucking idiot for my ride or die mentality. Well, that took a turn.
Right?
That wasn't even like a gentle making a left.
That was very jarring.
Whiplash. My goodness. I own the fact that I chose this man and continue to choose him over and over despite poor behavior or him falling off because I loved him enough to, in my mind at the time, work through anything. I need to provide some context for both my man's background and my own.
Yeah, you do, because you were just laying it all out like it was great.
Right. But I don't want it to be misconstrued as woe is me. This portion is specifically for context. Him, Navy veteran, severe PTSD from the military and his divorce/past relationship. He got raked over the coals when he divorced his wife. I only know 2 things that settled what I need to know about that in my mind. 1, we tried to see his kids in 2023 and the ex said that he couldn't see them without paying every penny of his child support, which is a significant amount. He got deep into debt trying to fight for partial custody of his kids and lost.
Okay, let's pause. She legally can't keep the kids from him.
Right, if there's a custody agreement.
Right. And if there's not a custody agreement, it would be very easy to file a piece of paper asking for one from the courts. If he is paying his child support, regardless of there being a back pay, she cannot legally keep the kids from him.
Right.
Unless the court says otherwise.
Yeah.
Depending on your states, new laws have been popping up over the 50-50 rule. And a whole lot of people who have fucked up custody things could actually go to court with the new 50-50 rule and be like, I want my kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Her parents had more money and more lawyers to fight this fight. 2, my man's mother attempted to see her grandkids around 2018 and she got the cops called on her. Grandma is the sweetest woman I think I've ever met in my life. She legit just wanted to see her grandkids, and I can't imagine being that vindictive to call the cops on a lady like her. Those 2 things are all I really need to know about his ex. His family has told me he's always been a hardhead, straight from birth. No one can tell him to do literally anything. His family to the side told me
Wait. Why is that a hard-headed thing? You can't tell anyone to do anything. You can tell them till you're blue in the fucking face. And It doesn't matter. They're not going to do it if they don't want to. That doesn't make somebody stubborn or hard-headed
or difficult.
It makes them their own person. I'm not going to do shit that I don't want to do.
Right.
If you came in and were like, go do this, 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 and this, I'd be like, who do you think you're talking to? I am my own free thinking individual, and I'm not going to be bossed around. Now, if you were like, babe, I need help with blah, 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 I got you. Because I want to serve you. I want to help you. But I don't want to do that for everybody.
Right.
And that's the beauty of being my own boss. I am stubborn and hard-headed. I don't want to fucking listen to anybody. And there are people out there who know a whole lot better than me, but I don't want to be underneath someone's thumb, which is why I've been my own boss for the last 20 years of my life. I'm not doing that.
Right.
So that's not a bad thing. If somebody is able to live their life and do the things that they want to do and they're still a decent person, don't call them names.
Right.
I understand that was a way to describe a personality trait, but why not say he's strong-minded? Because that sounds a whole lot better than
hard-headed.
Right, hard-headed. Strong-minded. That positive connotation.
Yeah.
Hard-headed, negative, right? Like, okay.
I agree with that. Continuing on, his family to the side told me they think I'm too good for him. I always responded with no, it's him that's too good for me. When they would ask me about that, I would say I feel like that's how any marriage should be. Each partner should look at each other and think, damn, I landed me a good one. And then they just shut up.
I would write those family members off.
Yeah.
If any of my family members ever did that shit on the side to you, I'm done. Fuck you guys.
Why are you trying to sabotage what I have going?
Right. I'm happy.
Now, if he's an abusive piece of shit,
different,
and he's an alcoholic and he's breaking things and he's threatening to hit you, I can see why a family member would pour you aside and say, hey, you deserve better than this.
Right. But wouldn't that conversation be like, hey, just so you know, he abuses women?
Right.
Like the last woman he was with, he shattered her face. Like,
right.
Be aware of these things. He has a temper. Like, that's the conversation that needs to be had. Not you're too good for him.
Right.
That's gaslighting. Like, that's bullshit.
I also don't think anybody's too good for anybody. I don't like that phrasing.
Yeah.
If you're too good for me, that means that I'm failing at serving myself. Continuing on, that was wild to hear from family members. I've always just been committed to him no matter what.
This next line is in parentheses, and it says, if you read this, please don't give any information about my past or current jobs. Well,
why would you include it?
Why would you include it if you don't want us to read it?
Right.
Because now I have to skim through here because I don't see Jenny in the chat. I have no idea if it was removed. I'm just going to skip this entire thing because I'm not going to sit here and we shouldn't have to sit here and read it to.
I feel like we should just nix the whole email now because what if it comes on in 4 or 5 paragraphs?
Yeah.
If you don't want something read on the podcast, don't include it in your email.
Jenny said I removed it.
Okay.
She's here. Okay.
Okay, fantastic.
All right.
Thank you. Me, I have a 17-year-old autistic child from a previous relationship who is high functioning, meaning she does her own laundry, she does her dishes, she's very capable with mimicry. Mimicry? That's mimicry?
Yep.
My goodness. First parentheses doesn't look right, so now mimicry. Wow. And motor skills. She's great at math, but she has trouble stringing her words together. She might be able to live in a semi-alone situation, a mother-in-law suite or something similar, but she's with me for life. I have split custody with her dad. We haven't been together since she was 6 months old, 2007. Her dad is her biggest protector and advocate. He's an absolutely amazing father. He's all in as a co-parent, and we both communicate well and have her best interests at the forefront of everything. I lost my first fiance to a motorcycle accident in 2010. This took me out of the dating scene for about 5 years. That to say, I'm fine on my own. My mother passed away suddenly and unexpectedly in 2014 from acute cardiac dysrhythmia.
Yep.
My goodness. All this isn't even half of what I've been through in my life. I'm proud of myself for the stable get shit done / learn and grow from your struggles / keep on moving mindset I've developed from all of this. Control. Sometimes I'll go to the bar. Sometimes I'll go into the bar I met my man at before open and talk with my female manager friend and then leave when they open. We are talking like once a week from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. He is not okay with this. He's not okay with me being there anymore, and that didn't used to be the case. There was no big event to set this off. Just little by little, he wanted me to go less and less then not at all.
Wasn't a big event. It was probably a bunch of little things.
Right.
Maybe he's just insecure, right? Maybe he just doesn't want you hanging out at a fucking bar.
Yeah. It's where you guys met and fell in love.
Maybe somebody there did something fucked up and he got wind of it and doesn't want you there because of it.
Yeah.
There's got to be a conversation about why he doesn't want you there. And until you've actually had that conversation and know what the real reason is and what's going on, you can't be upset about it.
Right. And there is a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I'm not saying that. Oh, well, here you go. I guess we should just keep going.
Oh, okay. He's in there all the time, goes to pool league weekly, and doesn't hold himself to the same standards he holds me to.
Okay. Before you move any further, what does that say to you?
Two things. First thing is, did you do something inappropriate at the bar that made him uncomfortable with you being there by yourself? Or, so this is like part 2 of that first thought, is the woman you're speaking to of bad influence?
Okay.
Second one is, do as I say, not as I do.
Mine didn't go to either one of those.
Okay.
Mine went to what's going on in the bar. Who do you not want me talking to in the bar?
Yeah.
If we have a local hangout where you and I get to go all the time and you're not allowed to go and I am, there's a reason that I don't want you in that bar.
Yeah.
And whether it's something that you did wrong or something that I'm doing wrong that I'm afraid you're going to find out about, something's happening there.
Yeah.
So in reading that, that's a huge fucking like red light turning on for me.
Hey guys, little quick interruption. If you're enjoying the content, please leave a like. And also don't forget to comment. We enjoy interacting with you guys and hearing your opinions, and it helps the algorithm.
It's also free to do. And if you really want to help make sure the show continues to do, hit the subscribe button and share the content across your social medias. It costs you nothing and it greatly helps the show.
Continuing on, which I get there are different standards for male and female roles. That's not what I'm talking about. I want to be clear that because of our family status with this establishment, I have absolutely no problem with him going out. I'm honestly annoyed when he controls where I can and can't go. I'm annoyed because this isn't what we set out on the table from the jump. This developed over time. I can't go out with friends or really anything without him causing a fight over the issue, even when I never say anything about the freedom he has. That control makes me very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah. This is a difference between boundaries and control.
Yes.
I would never tell you can't do something.
Right. Because you can't stop me.
Right. Right. Well,
unless you physically restrain me, but.
Right. But if I was like, I don't like you doing that, don't do it. And you did it and you gave up that freedom and you gave me that control and I was able to dictate your life to that extreme, our life would be very different.
Oh, yeah.
I would have you under thumb and I would be able to manipulate you and get you to do all the things that you want to do. And at that point, you're there because I'm making you be there, not because you want to be there. I would never tell you what you can and can't do. I would only tell you how I feel and how your actions will impact me and allow you to make the decision to stay or go, knowing how that would affect me.
Right.
Because if I was like, I'm having trust issues because of X, Y, and Z at the bar. Right? Let's say that she did something inappropriate or said something, or he has an insecurity with a dude who's there or whatever. And we have that conversation and I tell you that I'm not secure in that. And you're like, well, I don't give a fuck. I'm going anyways. Those are my friends. Cool. You just put your friends and the bar over our relationship, over me as your husband. I don't matter enough to you to recognize that in this moment, I am having issues with the security in our marriage.
Right.
And you're choosing otherwise. So thank you for letting me know exactly where the fuck I stand. And then I have to make decisions about our future moving forward from there. But it is a choice.
Yeah.
That choice comes from informed decision making. I just don't like it when you go is not enough of a reason.
Right.
Right.
I agree with that.
Real quick, Mint said, so to clarify, what is the difference between the respect for a relation and a insecurity about a spouse going to bar? Can I get a better understanding of the difference? Respect for a relationship and insecurity about spouse. Can you reword that? Because I don't understand what you're asking me. Do you understand that?
I mean, kind of. The difference between the respect for the relationship is a request and insecurity comes across as controlling.
Okay.
That's how I view that.
The double standard relationship shit. What if when she goes to the bar, he has to watch her kid?
Oh, yeah.
Who is high functioning autistic. And though he knew that was the case when they got together, maybe he didn't want to be a babysitter. And even though the kid is 17 years old, they are high functioning. That's great.
Right.
They still can't be left alone per her email.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't want to be put in that position.
Right.
So maybe that's where the issue is. Maybe the issue is the kid, and that's such a sensitive topic that they're not having the conversation about it.
She takes it personally or something.
Or has taken it personally, right? Or maybe he just doesn't want to be like, I don't want to babysit your kid.
Yeah.
Like, I've had enough of this shit. Maybe they don't get along. Maybe it's too much for him. Maybe there's a whole lot of what if and all of that. There's also a whole lot of trauma dump going on in this email.
Elaborate.
There was just a whole lot of unnecessary information.
Yeah.
About a whole lot of things, and maybe it will turn out to be very prevalent. But as you were reading, I was like, all right, let's get to the point. Like, what's going on here?
I trust him entirely with his freedom. I know that I will never have to worry about infidelity. I've never felt more secure in any relationship about that subject. I know I never have to check his phone. When we get in arguments, it's usually because he's being an asshole, and I'm not trying to play the victim card here. Sometimes, out of nowhere, he's just fucking mean. I simply chalk that up to a bad mental health day. I know that he goes through shit. I know that man is fighting demons I may never know about. What I own is that I never responded to that early on very well. I'll usually treat you like you treat me. I want to pause right there. That's very childish. An eye for an eye makes the whole world go blind. She did say that this was an earlier on thing. So by what she said, I can come to the conclusion that she's worked on that and she no longer reacts. She's responding to situations. But for anybody who's listening to the podcast currently, to treat someone the way that they treat you, oh, if he's going to cheat on me, I'm just going to go cheat on him. What are you doing to yourself?
You're taking on somebody else's demons.
Right. Like you're willingly drinking black tar at that point and poisoning your soul.
Yeah. Before you move on, Heather said, what is the difference between not going to the bar out of respect versus not going because someone is saying boundaries, respect, understanding, conversations versus controlled disrespect and trust? Somebody making a choice not to go because they understand what their partner is going to feel and go through comes from a place of compassion. Being told not to go out of control can become abusive. There's a very different thing there. If I laid out all of the shit with our relationship and the way things would make me feel, and knowing that our relationship comes first and we are supposed to prioritize each other and we are not being prioritized, that says everything that I need to know about where I am in life. Mm-hmm. And that could look like the bar or her kid, the bar, mortgage payment, car payment, jobs, stress, husband.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Right.
But on that list, it needs to be marriage or God, marriage, then us, then everything else below that. Mm-hmm. And if I'm holding you up here and you're holding me down here, and sometimes that swaps, we're not on the same playing field. Like I'm not willing to do that.
Right.
I'm not going to go in any situation ever where I'm not a priority to my person. Like I'm just not willing to live like that ever again. I've done that. Fuck that. That was miserable. So
I saw somebody in the chat say that we asked for longer emails with context. There's a difference between context and trauma dumping.
Absolutely.
There's a difference between context and filibustering.
Yeah.
I have had conversations that lasted an hour and a half because they're just going on and on and on and on. I don't need to know the color of the shirt of the third cousin who was at the party. Mm-hmm. What was the instance at the party that made you uncomfortable?
Right.
Some things can go from an hour to a 20-minute conversation with cutting out all of the filler.
Right. It needs to be detailed information with things that are relevant to what's happening right now. Mm-hmm. Like that 17-year-old autistic child, we actually found a way where that might have been relevant. Mm-hmm. But that's just backstory. And apparently there was a whole lot of stuff cut out here about jobs and past life shit. And like, it was cut out. It's obviously not relevant to the email. We don't need it to be able to know what's going on.
Right.
I don't need to know. Whatever. You already got it. So
okay. I'll usually treat you like you treat me. I've stepped back from that in the past few years. I've only wanted peace in my life.
I love that.
I want to avoid the conflict. He never apologizes. I always am the one bringing us back together. I'm always apologizing for whatever my part in it was. If it was that I said something in sort of a dick way because he didn't do something I asked him to do, I own that.
So there's a lot, right? There's a whole lot in that him not taking accountability and apologizing for things. Relationships have to be repaired from both sides. If you and I got into a major fight and the next day I processed this shit in the morning and I came to you and I'm like, look, I'm really fucking sorry for the way that I talked to you.
Right.
I didn't mean what I said. I was really angry and hurt and I just wanted to hurt you because I was feeling whatever I was feeling. And I laid all this shit out. And you're like, okay, thanks. And I'm left with an open wound that's not being repaired or bandaged or even like a Aquaphor over top of it. It's got dirt in it still. Nobody's been there to wash it. And you're taking care of, and I'm not, that wound is going to fester. It's going to become gangrenous. We're going to have a whole lot of fucking problems because there's no repair on the other side of things. You don't have to apologize when somebody apologizes, but it needs to happen. If I came to you and we went through all that and you were like, okay, thanks. And then later that evening or the next day, you were like, okay, I'm calm now. And I appreciate you apologizing to me yesterday. And here's my hand in things. And I'm sorry about these things that I did wrong. And here's why I did those things so that we can avoid this in the future. And we handle those things in that manner. The repair is still there.
Right.
But in this situation, he doesn't ever come back and repair the situation whatsoever. They just fight and he's an asshole.
Yeah.
And it's because she allows it to happen.
Continuing on.
Yep.
I pride myself in not being nagging. I pride myself in being reasonable and logical and accepting. I never tried to approach him in that way. In what way? Because you just listed out being reasonable, logical, and accepting. And if you never tried to approach him in that way.
Not nagging.
And not nagging. Okay. He doesn't meet me halfway. I've sat down and expressed that something that would help me in our relationship is if he repeated what I say back to me so that I know that he's hearing me. He refused, said that wasn't something he needed to do for me, and made the conversation about something else. I felt unheard, invalidated, unappreciated, and like I'm doing everything for everyone all the time. I told him I just need him to hold me some days, and he knows what I say to him. And he knows what I say to him. He knows what I'm telling him, what I would like from him. None of that changes. I'm tapped. I'm empty.
Okay, so in this situation, he has total control of everything, right? And when you look at it, that's exactly what this is. This is a situation of control. He's able to prevent you from going to the bar. I adjusted because I was comfortable and I wasn't planning on sitting up, but he's able to control you going to the bar. He's able to control the conversations. He's able to control the narrative after the conversations. He doesn't have to bend to everything or anything, and you do all of the bending. Why would he do anything to change his world when he doesn't have to? When you're comfortable, you're not going to give that up. You're just not. You're going to do everything that you can to maintain that comfortability, to maintain that comfort, because being uncomfortable sucks. So your lip service to him or nagging or trying to do all the, not nagging, you said not nagging,
right?
All of the things that you're trying to do is not working because he doesn't want to change. He's content doing what he's doing, and you're the one that's unhappy and hurting. That says a lot about your relationship.
It does.
If you were to be like, hey, can you repeat this back to me so that I make sure you understand it? Even if it made me feel like a child, because I can see in some cases how that would be the case or the situation,
right?
I would still do it because it doesn't take much for me to say a few words. I would rather be clear and understand what the fuck is going on than have tension in our home. I view this situation as abusive.
I agree.
I think that when you express your needs to someone and they choose not to meet your needs, they're telling you everything that you need to know about where you stand in their life.
Yep. His reaction when he knows I'm upset about his actions is to just love bomb me with things I don't need. He will spend extra time with my autistic daughter and play with her more and be extra cute with her when I'm mad.
That's a manipulation tactic.
That is manipulation. That's disgusting.
There's a lot more to that though. He's avoiding the situation and giving the attention and his love to other people in the room to not feel the way he's feeling.
Right. It's to make him feel better.
Yes. It has nothing to do with her in that moment. It's him trying to disassociate from what's currently happening by giving his attention to other things.
The distraction.
Yeah.
And it's also a way to pull other people in to show I'm good.
Right.
She's wrong in thinking that I'm doing all of these things because her autistic 17-year-old daughter loves me.
Right.
And we're getting ready to read. He will be extra helpful to my 72-year-old dad. They get extra buddy-buddy when he's in the wrong. That's more of that positive attention that he's able to get from other people to reaffirm the perception that he has of himself. Because what you're doing is challenging him.
Yeah. I hate to use the word narcissistic, but this is narcissistic abuse.
It is.
Because in the event that they break up, the kids and the dad and all the friends will be like, he was such a good person. Why'd you leave him?
Right.
Right? Like the outside perception of their relationship, he looks like the star of the relationship.
Right. Continuing on, he will suddenly cook a bunch of days out of nowhere and do other yard stuff when he knows he's hurt me. The cooking thing actually derails anything I had planned for dinner / bought from the grocery store for the week. But it's hard to be ungrateful for all of that, right?
Why? Okay, so why does it go to ungrateful?
Right.
You guys are not in a relationship and you are not working as a team.
No.
Even if we were fighting and I felt the need to cook, I would probably go buy the things that I need to cook because I don't know what you have planned. And I don't know where everything is in the kitchen. Like it would be easier for me to just go get the shit that I need to make dinner. But in the event that that was not a luxury for us and we had to eat what was in the house and we didn't have extra money, I would ask you, like, do you have meals planned for the rest of the week? What are they? I'll cook it. Like, to just get it out of the way because otherwise shit's going to go to waste. Like, that's not an ungrateful thing. That's just being on the same page. It's not asking a lot from people, guys. It's really fucking not.
It's hard to tell someone doing things like that they aren't getting the point. These things are nice. These things are appreciated in everyday life. But it's not what I asked for. It's not what I need from him when I'm hurting.
Well, it's also not real because he's only doing it to avoid you and to avoid the hurt. He's trying to repair in ways that are not helping. You guys aren't on the same page. It's really what it comes down to. She really needs to be able to stop him when he's doing this. Like in the moment, have you thought about going, I understand what you're doing right now. You're trying to show me that you're a good person by loving our daughter, my daughter, our daughter, whatever. They're married. So our daughter. You're going above and beyond for my dad. You're doing things around the house again. You're trying to show that you're an exemplary husband. But these are not what I need from you. This is not repairing anything. What I need from you is to have a conversation and need to be heard.
Yes.
And if you're not willing to do that and interrupt all of that shit, and you allow these cycles to continue, this is one more situation where you have given up the control and have allowed this to continue over and over and over again because that's your cycle now.
Right. I also want to point out that it's not hard to tell someone, I appreciate you doing this, but this isn't what I asked for.
Right.
It's a mental blockade. It's not that it's hard to do or you can't do it. You just lack confidence in doing it.
I mean, and what's the worst that's going to happen? You guys are going to fight? You've already been doing that.
Right.
The amount of people who don't want to have the arguments, don't want to have the hard conversations because it's easier to just not do it because they don't want to fight and they don't want to have conflict, they are perpetuating their reality. They're making a choice to not have the hard conversations and to not go through with the things that are making them miserable, to live in misery. Instead of going, okay, this is going to suck for the next 5 minutes or 5 days, but this conversation needs to be had because if it's not had, change can't happen.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not being heard. I tell him all of these things. He's not receptive no matter how I approach it. He's filling in for his lack of emotional intelligence with acts of service when all I need is for him to hear and validate me. I'm a pretty well-rounded love language person, but that one tank is empty and communication is the biggest part in a relationship. It's just not getting filled, and I've tried everything I know to do and in various ways / approaches to let him know this is a big problem that needs to change. I had a really bad mental health week last week, nothing really to do specifically with him, but maybe it really was. I was really just going through it. I don't get to just do that due to my daughter's autism. I don't have the luxury of just checking out. I have 100 things that need to get done, and if I don't do them, they aren't getting done. So I'm going to pause there. You don't have to get 100 things done all in one shot.
You got to prioritize.
Right. There have been multiple times where laundry is sitting in the dryer, there's dishes in the sink, the kitchen needs to be swept and mopped, and the kids are going haywire. I've just walked outside. It's not going to end your world to step away for 5 minutes.
Right.
And every excuse that you feed yourself is a reason for you not to love yourself. Continuing on, and he just doesn't, and he just like let me, ignore me, didn't check on me. And he just like let me, ignored me, didn't check on me. I was crying for help, and I never need that really. I don't. I'm used to self-regulating. I'm confused. So you only want attention when you're going through it?
Yeah, I have to reread the paragraph because we stopped so much that none of that made sense to me at the end. I had a really bad mental health week last week. Nothing really to do specifically with him, but maybe it really was. I was really just going through it. Okay, so right there, you don't know what was going on. That's a problem.
Yeah.
And if it was him, then just say it was him, right? I was really going through it. I don't get to just do that due to my daughter's autism. Yeah, you do. You still get to have a bad mental health week. Functioning through the mental health is what needs to happen. Processing your shit needs to happen. But that's everybody. It doesn't matter if you have an autistic daughter or not. If you have kids and a job and a husband and dogs and car payments and mortgage and cars and goats and all the shit that people have, we all deal with that shit. Pausing the world and feeling sorry for yourself for a week is a luxury that most people will never have.
Right.
So suck it up. Like everyone has to do that. That's called being an adult. And I know that came out kind of harsh. That's not me like, fuck you. That's not what I'm getting at. Like we all go through that. Having a partner is supposed to be there to like help you get through that shit, but you are supposed to self-regulate. It's just a thing for me. Anyways, I don't get to just do that due to my daughter's autism. I don't have the luxury of just checking out. I have 100 things that I need to get done. And if I don't do them, they aren't getting done. So what? We've had this conversation a lot. So what? House isn't going to explode because the dishes didn't get done.
Right.
Floor didn't get swept and there's dog snot on the floor. Who gives a fuck? I would rather lay on the couch with you for 15, 20 minutes and decompress than fucking deal with all of this shit. Life is going to be there waiting for you. All of your problems, all of the dirt, all of everything is going to be there when you're ready to tackle it. And if it somehow magically cleans itself or does what it needs to do, that's really fucking great. There was, I want to say it was Napoleon, but I might be wrong. It might have been Mark Anthony. Somebody didn't open their mail for a month after they got it. And this was at the time where it took weeks to get to somebody. And when somebody's like, why don't you open your mail until a month after you get it? And he's like, because if it was a problem a month ago and it's still a problem today, then I need to worry about it. But if it was a problem then and it's been worked out, it's not something that I need to deal with. You have to pick and choose the things that you are going to deal with and where your attention needs to go. You have to prioritize, execute, and burn the fucking ships. Like that's just all there is to that.
Right. Before you continue on, she also said that her daughter's high functioning.
Right.
So if at some point she's going to be able to live in an in-law suite and you're not going to have eyes on her all the time, you can take 15 minutes to take a breather.
Right. She's also good at mimicry.
Right.
Give her a fucking broom. She's autistic. She's not an invalid. Like you can have her fucking help you do things. Our 5-year-old can vacuum.
Yeah.
She handles a broom and a dustpan just fine. Like there's a whole lot of things that you can do with your children to utilize them as an asset when you're going through things like this. And that doesn't mean lean on your kid emotionally. It means give them fucking chores. They make messes, teach them to clean the shit up. He just like let me, ignored me, didn't check on me. I was crying for help. Were you actually crying for help or were you going through it mentally, struggling and refusing to say shit? Yeah. And when you were crying for help, what were you saying? Were you saying, could you do the fucking dishes, please? Or were you saying, I'm really fucking depressed. I'm having a hard time wanting to exist right now. And I need my husband, right? Like, because what you say, the delivery matters. Not all messages are delivered the same way.
Right.
That's why this works so well because you are very gentle and soft. And I'm like, suck it the fuck up. Like I am a very direct, brash human being. We have a 50-50 between us that gives people the information that they need from two different perspectives.
Yeah.
I couldn't deliver your messages your way. They would never come out that way.
Right.
So
I wanted to touch on what I was saying. If the only time you ask for attention is when you're going through it, that's a problem. If you never reach out on the good days and give affection just because you love him, and you only want that attention when you're depressed or suicidal or life is overwhelming, in my opinion, that makes him more of your caregiver versus your partner in life. Does that make sense? I just got so internally angry. Like I'm not allowed to have moments of weakness. No one is going to catch me if I fall. Even the strong can only be so strong so long before they break.
Okay. Real quick, before we go any further, no one is going to catch me if I fall means that you're in the wrong relationship. That sentence alone, regardless of everything else that's got going on, means that you're not in the right relationship.
Yeah.
This is the crutch conversation that we had during our ayahuasca retreat and then afterwards again on the live stream that we did where we talked about our journey. Your partner is supposed to be a pillar. They're supposed to be the rock, the tree, the crutch, whatever you want to call that you're supposed to lean on when you are too fucking weak to carry on. If you are in a relationship and your partner is not that for you, you have the wrong person, period. Okay.
I just thought of something I need to write down in my journal before I forget it.
All right, guys, as you know, there was a TikTok scare. We lost the app for a whole 12 hours and we have no idea what the future of the app looks like. And with that, we are very concerned about the loss of our following. We have amassed almost 3 million followers across that platform with all 4 of our accounts. And we are trying to push people to other social media platforms so that in the event that anything happens on one app, we have multiple other backup plans. If you want to make sure that you're not missing any content, we highly recommend that you check out our Patreon.
On Patreon, we have multiple tiers to choose from. Starting at $10, you begin to receive exclusive content. At $15 a month, you get access to our private Discord server where we've amassed an absolutely amazing community of supportive people. And beyond that, we have other tiers to check out, along with my 2 private women's group, if that's something you may be interested in.
Guys, on our $15 and higher tier, you have access to live recordings. We record all of our content 3, 4, sometimes 5 times a week, live in front of our Patreon audience, where they are able to chat with us while we're recording. They get to see all the flirting, the outtakes, the hot topic conversations that never actually make it on the podcast. And it's really worth that aspect in itself. We have an After Dark where we sit down usually once a week and have a glass of bourbon, or in Peach's case, a glass of wine and a bowl of cheese. And we have a whole lot of fun conversations, karaoke in the Discord. We finish the lyrics. We literally just hang out and you guys get to hang out with us. There is a host of other perks, including Zoom calls that are coming for the ultimate tier. So that if you guys are having problems, you can talk to us. It also gives you the heads up on private meet and greets, because when we travel, we try to meet up with people on our Discord on a regular basis. There's a whole slew of other perks that come through Patreon. I highly recommend that you check it out.
The best way to support what we are doing is to share the content. The second best way is to check out our Patreon. Thank you guys for being here.
While you're doing that, I'm going to interact with the chat. Jenna said, "Oh, the way I want to have this conversation with women raising difficult children. Man, I understand why she feels the way she feels. I can also help walk her through the side where she can breathe again." Grace said, "Damn, Chris, I needed that." I'm not sure what you needed, but I'm glad I helped.
I feel like I bend over backwards for everyone and not be considered by anyone. I consider everyone's past and mental health and give them a pass on their bad days. And I get nothing like that in return. And I realize these are things that I need to work on in my mental state. I don't want to be a bitter person. I want to be happy and healthy and well. I feel like an empty shell of who I once was, and I feel like the most important person in my life just doesn't care or doesn't know how to care.
Well, I mean, and that could be a possibility. You know, people that struggle with compassion and empathy don't know how to give you what you need. And that comes down to personality traits and compatibility. And again, not all people are compatible. So if you need somebody that's super emotional and compassionate, you should have found somebody that's super emotional and compassionate, not somebody who's military.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole lot that goes into that. I consider everyone's past and mental health and give them a pass on their bad days. And I get nothing like that in return. It speaks to the people that you surround yourself with.
Yes.
These are the people that you have chose to have in your life.
Mm-hmm. That you allow access to you.
Right. You've chosen people who lack compassion and empathy. Those are the people that you want to have around you. Now, until you change that, that's exactly what you're going to get. This also speaks to, if he's a combat veteran, he's somebody that's going to be very much pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Like there are a lot of men out there who struggle with that emotional weakness in women because they don't know how to deal with it, because they were never taught that it was okay to cry. You're not allowed to have bad days. Shit's got to get done. Suck it the fuck up. Let's go. Mm-hmm. Right? Like that's real for a whole lot of fucking men. I'm not saying that it's for everyone, because there are a lot of soft dudes out there who are very in tune with themselves, but most of us didn't get that luxury.
Right.
I didn't get that luxury until I was in my 40s. And I'm still like working through that shit. There are days where you fucking go through that and I'm not like, I don't know what to do. Like what do you want me to do right now? Like I have to ask you, what do you need from me? Because I don't know how to serve you right now.
I want to touch on real quick because of the conversation that you just had. Okay. She said before she has grown as who she is, that she was very reactive to him speaking out of the side of his neck. She would match the energy. I'm going to treat you the way that you treat me. Right. So what does that look like now when he says something out of the side of his neck? Do you just ignore him? Do you walk out of the room? Do you pretend it doesn't happen? Or is there an engaging conversation of, babe, why did you just talk to me like that? What did I do to elicit that reaction or response? Was it something that I said? Was it something that I did? Because if it is, I would like to correct that because I want to love you the way that you need it. Yeah.
Those conversations are a lot for us.
Yeah.
That's the most gentle way to call out shitty behavior, especially after the fact when you guys are in repair and you're trying to fix things and you're like, well, why did you do that? And you're like, The first time you did that to me, it was like you fucking slapped me in the face with a dildo. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know what to do. Like, Dave Chappelle said, sometimes people are racist to you, you don't know what to do. Like, did that just fucking happen?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know what to say to that. Like, but that slap in the face, that wake up call is necessary for change behavior, because if somebody doesn't check you on your shit and that's just the way that you're going through your life and that's normal to you, why would you change?
Right. All right. Continuing on. Early in our relationship, we established that I would take care of his laundry and cook and clean. We still have great physical intimacy. We don't share finances because of the core issues with his divorce and children. He pays half the rent. He kicks me money for groceries periodically. He kicks me money for nothing periodically. So is that like play money? Is he giving you money to take care of yourself and do the things that you love? Because that's a love language. That's, I'm giving you this so you can have whatever you want in life.
Yeah.
Right? And if that's not something that's appreciated or shown gratitude for, that could also be impeding what he has going on internally. Men take a lot of pride in their work ethic, hopefully.
Good men.
Good men take pride in their work ethic and being able to say that my woman wants for nothing. Materialistically here, of course, because he's not providing spiritually or mentally.
Right. Well, he's not providing financially either. Somebody in the chat said that she's speaking in a whole lot of absolutes, definitive. He always, he nevers.
Yeah.
So
that
was a
true.
good catch to Anna who caught that. For those of you who don't know, again, we do record all of this shit live in front of our Patreon audience. So if you would like to be a part of the 135 people who are currently watch us record this, go to Patreon and join our Discord. This situation, he's not even carrying his own weight because they're not splitting the bills 50-50. They're not sharing finances as she worded it. But what she really meant is that he's not even paying half of his way. He pays half of the rent. That doesn't cover electric, gas, water, fucking all of the other bills that you have, cable, cell phones, car payments, none of that.
Well, that's an assumption because she also didn't say that he doesn't pay for those things. She didn't say that she's footing the bill for most of that.
She said he pays half the rent and gives me money for groceries periodically, and he kicks me money for nothing periodically. We have separate everything else. Okay, so then I guess maybe he's paying his own car payment and cell phone bill. But that still leaves out the electric, the gas, the water, insurance, things that you would have as a family that would be part of the bills. He's not paying for any of it.
Well, we don't know that. He could be, and she just didn't mention it.
Okay.
The lack of commenting on that, I don't want to assume whether he does or doesn't.
Okay.
An elaboration on he kicks me money for nothing periodically would also be helpful. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
We have separate everything else. My feeling is that if I'm working 40 hours a week, I'm taking care of my autistic child half the week. I'm doing laundry, cooking dinner, cleaning the house, all this other shit, and you're not a provider of emotional support, then what the fuck am I even doing here?
Okay, so I'm going to challenge that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like the way that was worded.
No, I don't like the way that it ended. You're working 40 hours a week. Congratulations, you're an adult.
Right.
Everybody's supposed to do that. Minimum of 40 hours a week to survive right now. You're doing laundry, cooking dinner, and taking care of your child and cleaning your house. You have to do that whether you've got a man or not. That's your child. First and foremost, you guys can call it ours. That's your responsibility. And it's cool that he's helping and stepping up and playing the stepdad role, even though the dad is still kind of in the picture. You have her split custody. You're co-parenting with the dad is the way you worded it earlier. So I'm assuming split custody. So you don't have her every week. And if you do, you didn't specify that. So I don't know.
She did say half the week. So I'm thinking that they
split custody.
Yeah.
Right. So if that's the case and dad's very involved, you're not doing that all the time. Why don't you just say, I'm not getting what I need from my partner in these aspects, instead of saying, well, I do all of this shit and he can't even be there to emotionally support me.
Right.
Maybe you're not emotionally supporting him. Maybe there's a whole lot of disconnect going on in your relationship between the both of you, and you're getting hung up on the service aspect of things, and you're not getting your emotional needs filled. Like, you guys are disconnected as a motherfucker. There needs to be conversations here.
I also want to touch on, I totally forgot that the father is present. The biological father is present. So if you don't have your child half the week, what's your excuse for not taking time for yourself then?
That's a good
Because
call.
that was the first thing you listed, is that you have an autistic child. If you guys do like a true 50-50, he has her 3 days a week, you have her 3 days a week, and you split it down the middle on Sundays or whatever, what are the 100 other things going on in life? And like my husband commented on earlier, if you're sitting down and scrolling for 45 minutes on your phone and then you're overwhelmed because you realize you have all these things to do. Well, that could have been 30 minutes of meditation or a bath or getting your nails done. Something to fill your cup back up versus making excuses of, well, if I don't do this, everything's going to fall apart. It didn't fall apart when you were scrolling for 45 minutes.
Nope. Sure the fuck didn't.
Yep. Continuing on.
Yep.
The only outlet I used to have was my PS5. He's taking that over as his outlet, and I don't know when the last time I played was. So I guess I'm sitting here stewing in my emotions while he has a place to avoid us while I try to go to talk to him again about our communication. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. I'm talking to a wall. I'm screaming to no one. They
need therapy.
Yeah.
They need somebody to mediate their conversations because she's very one-sided in all of this.
I agree with that. And that came off as very victim mindset.
Mm-hmm.
He's taken over my PS5, so now I have nothing in life. If you guys are splitting things down the middle and you paid for that PS5 and he's not going to allow you to play the PS5, I'm throwing the bitch away. You're not going to get enjoyment out of something that I worked hard for that gives me something and fills my cup, and you're going to tell me I can't use it?
Yeah.
Not playing that game. Now, if that's not the truth and that you could be playing the PS5, he jumps off whatever he's doing when he goes to play pool at the pool hall.
Or when her kid's not there.
Right.
Right. There's a whole lot going on in the chat right now about how the daughter is 17 years old, high functioning, autistic, and very vulnerable. And the way that he kills her with kindness and does the things that he does is a red flag to a lot of people. And the daughter might potentially not being safe. And that's not something I thought about. And it's not something I was going to get into. But because it's been continuing on for a hot minute now, I'm going to let that out just so that everybody knows that that is a concern. I would also like to say that anybody that says that they don't have time, you have the same amount of time every day as everybody else.
Right.
You lack time management. You probably do a whole lot of shit that you shouldn't be doing and then say that you don't have any time left.
Right.
I could free up my entire day if I have to. When you said, babe, I'm stressed out. We're recording every single day of the week. Our schedules are fucking crazy. I don't know how much longer I can do this. I said, give me 12 hours. And by that night, I didn't say it out loud. In my head, I'm like, I'll fix this shit. By bedtime tonight, this is fucking resolved. And by that night, I freed up fucking 5 days of our week.
Yeah.
5 days. Not 30 minutes, not an hour, 5 days. A normal person can easily free up a day of their week.
Yeah.
If they fucking time management their shit. Get a journal and set an alarm on your phone for every 15 minutes and then write down what you're doing every 15 minutes. And after 1 week, go back every day and look at all the things that you did that was wasting your time and add that shit up. I'm willing to bet that you find a day, day and a half, maybe even 2 full days of shit that you could be doing that you're not.
Yeah.
Furthermore, if you remove 1 hour of sleep, if you get up 1 hour earlier every single day, you have freed up an entire work day a week, minus your lunch break, that you could be doing something to benefit your life. 7 hours. I want to hear that shit.
I stayed up until 11 o'clock last night doing research on something that interested me.
You did. It's so sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you fucking sexy book nerd. I love that shit so much.
Thank you. Oh my goodness.
That I like watching you deep dive your shit.
Yeah.
And like, I know that we're going to have conversations about it later.
Right.
9 times out of 10, I don't care. But I'm engaging with you because it makes you happy, and you're being happy makes me happy. And I want to be a part of that. And I want to know what's going on. Because in the event that I see a cool rock, I could be like, hey, this is hematite. Look, babe, hematite.
Yeah.
Like, I don't fucking know. You told me.
Throw some tiger's eye at my face that you found in the woods.
Right. Right. There's a whole lot that could go into that. It's just, it's no different than us seeing mushrooms in the wild and be like, look, babe, mushrooms, right? Like we get excited about that shit.
We do it every time.
Right. But there's a connection there that we have turned towards each other by choice.
Yeah.
And like last night while you were labeling all your crystals and going through your whole fucking thing and trying to take inventory of what you had, I was like, we could go to the crystal shop in Sarasota and like have a day date. And like we made plans to do that and we were able to connect because you were doing what you were doing. Being able to see you in the moment, like see you in the moment, doing the thing that you love that has nothing to do with the podcast or my hobbies or my wants and interests is comforting to me because I know that you're still your own individual and that you are still living the life that you want to live and you do have your own hobbies and you are not becoming a shell of peaches.
Right.
Right. You're not just the fuzzy peach. You're the internal in the pit and everything inside.
Yeah.
The juiciness, the juicy peach. Okay. We have to stop.
Okay.
Because that was going to get really, really, really dirty. Really dirty.
Oh my goodness.
It's getting really dirty.
Is it still going?
Yeah, it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that you still love me.
Of course I do.
I wasn't expecting to get emotional over that. My goodness. Holy shit. I'm going to continue reading. I take ownership over the fact that I'm stubborn. Do you mean hard-headed? Because that's what you called him earlier.
Yeah.
I take ownership over the fact that I internalize things. I have truly put in the work to be softer for him, more feminine, a better communicator. How so? Because as pointed out in our chat, there has been a lot of very definitive he always, he nevers. Mm-hmm. And if that's how you're communicating to him, that's not effective.
Shout out to the chat.
Yeah.
You guys have paid so attention. And like, I know that there are people that fucking take notes to what we're talking about and like try to study and learn and do the thing. Mm-hmm. They're picking up on shit. They're doing our job for us at this point. Like we should just read the email and read the chat.
There are little Clippies.
We don't have to think. Like
you remember Clippy?
Mm-mm. Oh yeah.
On Windows?
From Windows. Yeah.
Do you need help with something?
That's funny.
I try very hard to not contribute to his feeling of emasculation in any way, even though that's hard for him in his financial situation.
What's he doing about it?
That's a good question.
Because if he's got time to play video games, he has a time to get a second job. That's all there is to that.
That is true.
All the shit that we do in our downtime is because we have freed up our schedule to be able to do it. Mm-hmm. If I was worried about paying our mortgage, I'd be live. Or I'd go back to the tattoo shop. Like, I'm not going to sit in here and play video games.
Right.
I'm not going to put my family in a shitty situation because I don't want to work.
Yeah.
And that's not emasculation. That has nothing to do with being emasculated.
Right.
You have a responsibility. And because you're taking care of all of those things, he doesn't have to. Mm-hmm. You've given up that control and have allowed him to do the things that he's doing because there's no repercussions for it.
Right. You also care about my perspective of you.
Your perspective is the only one I'm worried about. I don't care if the kids like me. I don't. They love me. I know they love me. They tell me I'm the best pops ever. Mm-hmm. And that's super dope. Low Man actually said, "You're the greatest dad ever," which was really fucking dope. Like that got me in the fucking feels, man. A lot. Like cried over it. But at the end of the day, I have a responsibility to make them good people. And that's as far as that goes. I have to provide for my family. They don't have to like me.
Right.
People around us don't have to like me. I'm grateful that we have found kindred spirits in people like Zach and Jenny and Krista and Jay and Krista and fucking
Troy and Tiffany
and Jenna. And though I don't know Dave, like there are kindred spirits to us. I have a lot of respect for them. And if I did something that disappointed them, that would probably affect me a little bit. And like it would make a mental note that's probably not good behavior. But beyond that, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like I'm happy. And what you're doing over there and the way that you view me and your opinion of me doesn't fucking matter to me at all. It did at one point a lot. Mm. Mother Aya took care of that shit real quick.
Yeah.
Real fucking quick.
Can't wait for April.
I can't either.
Jen A in our live Patreon chat, if you guys would like to be a part of our studio audience and give us input, check out our Patreon. Jen A said she's a great communicator that didn't communicate she was going through it and got mad that he didn't notice.
Yeah.
A really good point.
It is. It absolutely is. Just going to throw this out there that in the event that, well, we'll talk about that off the podcast.
Okay. I've always treated him like my husband, even though we are unable to get married on paper due to the financial shit. I don't need that paper. I'm loyal. I'm all or fucking nothing. Every time we fight, I'm first and foremost introspective. I believe I'm strong emotionally in that regard. I'm quick to apologize. I'm quick to forgive. I want to pause there. But are you quick to change the actions that caused whatever happened? Accumulate is not the word, but if he did something and you had a reaction instead of a response, have you changed the way that you respond to things?
Right.
Or are you having the same behaviors and then just apologizing after the behavior? If you guys haven't watched BoJack Horseman, I highly, highly recommend it. I have been watching psychologist breakdowns of that show, and there is an episode on YouTube where they break down how apologies mean nothing when the person continues the same behavior. And BoJack Horseman does a really, really good job of outlining the perpetual shitty behavior and just expecting people to forgive you because, well, I'm genuine in my apology, but you're not genuine in the changed action.
Right. Yeah, there has to be changed action.
Right.
I also, the financial situation and them not getting married, I think is a bullshit excuse.
Yeah.
I know that there are some situations where your finances could like hurt your credit of your spouse and things of that nature. But, you know, if he had $500,000 in debt and they got married, maybe that could become a problem. Maybe. But I'm willing to bet if you sat down and talked to somebody and got real information, you would find out that it's not as bad as you think it is.
Right. It's not going to change how much he owes in child support.
Right.
He's not going to all of a sudden get more because you guys got married.
Right. Well, she also wouldn't be responsible for his child support.
Right.
It doesn't work that way.
I just don't get the same thing back, even when I ask in a loving, approachable way for the work on it. It's always an attack on my part for him. He's always defensive. I feel like I'm hitting a wall. I've had this ride or die mentality for our whole relationship, but the compounding disregard for my feelings and making me feel abandoned in the moment I truly needed him, has make something shifted, and I'm headed towards fuck it mode. I'm tired of being unheard when I hear and change and shift on any ask from him. I'm about to burn this whole thing down and write everyone off. Him, his extended family I've made ties with. About to be done with everything and just be alone because I'll be just fine with my PS5 all to myself.
Wow. What a statement.
That is definitely a statement.
I'm ride or die, but I'm good if I have my PS5.
Yeah.
I wonder how many times they had conversations that were actually attacking him, that now every conversation feels like an attack because it's trained behavior.
It is trained behavior, yeah.
I'm going to die on the hill that they need a mediator. They need to go and sit down and talk and have their shit out with a third person there that has nothing to do with anything to like navigate what's being said and what's happening in the relationship so that they can fucking hear each other.
Yeah.
Because I'm willing to put money, like a lot of money down that they have tried to talk and they're not fucking listening to each other.
Yes. I'm going to read this next blurb and then I'm going to say what I want to say.
Okay.
Do I keep trying when I'm not getting anywhere? We keep hearing communication is the biggest part of a relationship. What if that's the only thing really missing? Nobody is perfect. Everyone has to make adjustments and compromises. A big component of communication is listening and understanding.
Mm-hmm.
You've painted this man out to be an absolute asshole. He sounds inconsiderate. He doesn't sound like a real man. He sounds like he doesn't care about you. And by proxy, there's no love there. There's no filling of the cup. Has he always been that way? And if he hasn't always been that way, what was the catalyst for him to change as a person? She said earlier on that there was no real big reason for him to be uncomfortable with her going to the bar. It just slowly happened over time. Is that the truth? Or did you not like what he was having to say about you going there and you just wrote it off? And it wasn't a big deal to you, but it was a big deal to him. If there is no try to understand what he goes through due to his PTSD and what he experienced in the military and the uprooting of his divorce and not being able to see his kids anymore and having the money hung over his head, this man's going through a lot. If all you're focused on is, well, my feelings are hurt right now, your feelings matter. He's also going through some very real world punching in the dick. And if there has been no comforting or consolation or just a reaffirmation of I can see that you're doing everything that to the best of your capability and I appreciate you and I love you, why would he want to go out and do the same for you?
It's a good question.
The end of my TED Talk.
There's a lot that goes into all of this. The chat mentioned the PS5 thing and how she's very hung up on the video game console, which I did too because they're like 40 years old.
Right.
Which is really weird to me.
Why?
Why what?
Why is that weird?
Because they're 40 years old.
Right.
Their main goal in life is to be able to play video games.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Like, that's the most important thing. I'll be totally fine alone with my PS5.
Yeah.
Disassociating, escapism, not being part of the real world. You want to just escape into an alternate reality of video games. Like, what is happening when you play video games? Because I guarantee you got your friends that you play with. Playing video games by yourself is fucking boring.
Oh, I enjoyed Skyrim.
Skyrim's a little bit different. Playing MMOs where you get to go in like RPGs and do that kind of shit. There's constant puzzles and brain things happening. Playing games like Call of Duty over and over and over again by yourself sucks. It's just not fun. She's using it as an escapism though. And I'm sure he is too. I enjoy video games. Enjoy playing Magic, but I use it to kill time. I don't use it to escape my reality.
Right.
If I have the opportunity to go do something, I would much rather go do something than fucking sit here and play video games. When days we have got nothing going on and it's fucking 10,000 degrees outside because we live in Florida, I'm gonna be in the AC gaming that shit up because I have nothing else to do until bedtime. And I'm literally wasting my life away doing this shit. There's definitely a whole lot of issues in this relationship. And there's a whole lot of, I want his side of the story.
Me too. I agree with that. I feel like he would paint a totally different picture.
Well, we would be able to hear what's actually being said.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing for her to be like, I communicate without nagging. For him to be like, all she does is fucking bitch at me. Well, what do you mean she bitches at you? Like, can you explain that? Well, every time she comes to me, she tells me that I'm not enough and I always do this and you never do that. And well, now I'm being attacked.
Yeah.
Those are attacking statements.
Those are.
We communicate all the time, but everything is me. And it's never her. Like, and every time I don't do something the way that she wants it done, I'm a fucking problem. Like, there's a whole lot of things that could be going on there that we can't see. This is just her perspective of how shitty her relationship is and how she's fucking done with it and doesn't want to be there. And we communicate all the time, but obviously you don't because there's no change.
Right.
And either you got yourself a legit narcissistic man because the beginning of that sounded like there was potential narcissistic abuse there. Or you got a man who just doesn't fucking give a shit about you, that's using you and taking advantage of you. And you are really in a really shitty situation. The reality is that it takes two people to have a fight. 2 people to take an argument. It takes 2 people to have a relationship, a minimum.
I also want to comment on, I saw Buff Bell say earlier in the chat, something along the lines of, what if he's nicer to the 17-year-old because he cares about how she's being raised?
That's a good point. She did start the email by saying how great he was with kids.
Yeah.
Vibe said maybe she goes to the bar and spends money. There's a whole lot of unknowns.
Yeah.
That's the downside of what we do. Unless people are really accountable in their emails, like truly, because there's not accountability here.
Right.
She's listing out a lot of her feelings and the way that she's unhappy, but there's no accountability.
Yeah, there's been blanket statements.
A lot of them.
I want to know what you've actually said to the man. Give me quotes of yourself.
Right. It'd be great. It would be absolutely great. I said da. He replied da, and this is the way the conversation went. That would be amazing. The problem is we don't get that. So we get a little pinhole of your life of what you tell us, asking us for help. But if you're not honest with what's going on and there's not truth, because there's your side, his side, and somewhere in there is what's really going on.
Yeah.
We can't help you.
I got nothing else for this.
Well, we're an hour and 22 in before cuts. So I think we should just wrap up. All right. So with that being said, guys, remember you're the author of your own life.
So grab a pen.
And we will see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.